hai boss vô rồi.
Welcome to the Corning Museum of Glass Hot Glass Show.
好，各位来宾，大家好，让我们以热烈掌声欢迎 Tom 还有。
My name is Lori. I'd like to introduce Tom Ryder. Tom Ryder is going to be doing our glass demonstration today. I'd also like to introduce Xiao Feng. She'll be translating our show into Mandarin today.
好，还有 Lauren， 我们利用这个热烈掌声欢迎他们两个，谢谢，谢谢 ，Thank you。
So Tom's getting started over here at our melting furnace. This furnace is 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 1,200 degrees Celsius.
好，在我们前面呢有热熔炉，它的温度是2100度华氏，相当于摄氏1100度，里面装着流体透明热玻璃。
He's gone in with a stainless steel blowpipe, and he's come out with a good quantity of molten soda lime glass. It appears to be orange. That's only because it's so hot. It is actually clear glass. So the first thing Tom is going to do is prepare to color the glass using a cobalt oxide, which will produce a really beautiful blue color.
好，刚刚我们看到透明的玻璃，但是它呈橘红色，是因为温度比较高的关系。那我们想做有颜色的玻璃呢，就滚上预先压碎砂状的有颜色玻璃。刚才我们滚上是钴蓝色，钴蓝色呢是钴的金属氧化放进去加成的，不同的颜色，不同的金属氧化物。
In order to get color in the glass, we need to use metal oxides. We can't use any kind of dyes or pigments because of the temperatures we're working with today. So we use metals like cobalt, manganese, iron. For a beautiful ruby, we might use gold. We also use silver, and those will produce the full range of colors you see up here on the stage.
好，在我们前面你们看到很多不同的颜色，有红色，有红色的话是加了一点比较贵，叫金子的氯化物，然后是绿色的呢，里面加了铁的金属氧化物，或者是还有什么颜色？蓝色是钴的金属氧化物。
So Tom is coming back over to our shaping bench, and he's going to shape up that glass using what looks like a big wooden spoon. This is actually a handheld mold made out of cherry wood that we call a block. And all of those wooden tools are soaked in water because when the hot glass hits the wet wood, it's going to make a barrier of steam.
好，刚才我们固定形状是用一个木质的工具，是一种叫做樱桃木的。然后我们现在固定形状，吹口气，用拇指压住这口气，很快的往前窜出一个气泡来。这个玻璃气泡呢，是最开始的原始气泡。
Did everybody see the shape change there a little bit? So right now, Tom cooled the outside of the bubble. He blew into the back of our stainless steel blowpipe and capped it with his thumb, and that pressurizes the entire tube. So right now, inside that blue glass blob, there's a bubble about the size of an avocado pit.
好，这个不锈钢钢管中间是通气的，刚才它已经吹出一个小的玻璃气泡来，但是这一点玻璃呢是不够做我们的成品，我们必须取更多玻璃之前呢，要等待它的温度降到1000度，所以呢，我们用各种方法来把它降温。
So Tom right now has enough glass to maybe make a small drinking vessel or maybe a very, very small vase, but he's told me at the beginning that he's planning on making a very large bowl for all of you guys, and that means he needs a lot more material. So he's cooling down the bubble in preparation to go back into our melting furnace. And when he comes out, he'll come out with 2 to 3 times more glass on the end of his pipe.
好，今天我们要做一个大的碗，所以呢，这一点玻璃是不够。我们进去取这气泡，取这玻璃之前呢，这气泡一定要保留住。假如太厚重的话，它就会没有办法吹。而且呢，玻璃太软就会破掉、碎掉。所以呢，我们现在取出2、3倍大玻璃，可是气泡还在里面。
So glass very much has a similar viscosity to warm table honey, and you'll actually see Tom needs to keep the pipe rotating at all time. I'll do a little demonstration of what happens real quick when we stop turning the pipe, and it's just what you would think of if you were getting honey out of a pot.
好，我们现在劳人特别让你们看这个流体状的玻璃是什么样，很快就掉下，像水一样，像蜜糖一样，也像火山岩浆。
Abstract sculpture.
Nice.
So the first thing Tom needs to do shaping this is to actually cool the outside of the glass in order to get it under control. He was using a larger wooden block, and he's now using a graphite paddle, both to shape the glass and also to thicken it up at the bottom.
好，我们刚才用的是木勺子，是水果木制成，所有的樱桃木和水果木都泡在水里，使它不会烧着，而且有蒸汽，使表面光滑。同时呢，我们刚才用的很特别的一个工具，把底座的厚度保留出来，因为等下吹气的时候底座一定要够厚。现在用钢夹夹出环状形状。
One of the most important things about glass blowing is heat management, because the bubble is only going to expand where the glass is the hottest. So what Tom is doing right now, as he tools the glass and shapes the glass, is he's setting up temperature relationships between the front and the back of the bubble, so that the bottom will stay a little bit thicker where it's a little bit colder, and will expand at the top where it's a little bit hotter.
好，我们吹玻璃完全要靠他的经验，所以他们很有经验，控制好它玻璃的温度。现在呢，我们要慢慢吹气，主要是要维持在中间。同时呢，我们用个钢夹夹出个环状形状，靠近钢管，是传统的吹玻璃。罗马人发明的吹玻璃，所以要从那个地方切断，它一定要夹得恰到好处，才能切得比较干净。
You might have seen he cut a constriction in right off the end of the blowpipe using these tools right here. These tools are made of steel, dipped in beeswax, and they're called jacks. And basically what he's doing is he's creating a weak spot or a separation line that he'll use later in the process to remove this piece from the blowpipe.
好，我们看到Lawrence手里拿了这个很特别的钢夹子呢，它有很多重用，除了它专门用来操作。但是这钢夹子的坏处就是它会使温度降得很快。好，我们看他刚才用那个湿的石棉布呢，是它最接近玻璃的时候，也是控制玻璃最好的工具了。
So Tom has given me the nod. We're going to be putting a foot on the bottom of this vessel in clear glass. So I'm going to start to gather up the amount of material that Tom wants.
好，他们刚才请他的助手呢取出另外一块玻璃，要放在它底座下面。所以呢，我们现在取出一小块热玻璃，可以看到它怎么样从侧面或从上面放下去。
As before, there's only so much material you can gather at one time before the glass starts to strip back into the furnace. So in order to build up quantity, I gather a small amount, I let it set up on the pipe, and now again, as you saw before, when I come out this time, I'm going to come out with 2 to 3 times as much glass to drip onto the bottom of this piece.
好，我们助手特别解释，刚才第一次只能拿一点点，所以我每一次都拿一点点，所以这是第二次拿了比较多一点。现在我们要放在它底座中心点，这时候我们可以亲眼看到流体状的玻璃是怎么样垂吊在我们成品上，热玻璃跟热玻璃很快就会粘在一起。
Using a little bit of gravity to gather this foot right on center, and Tom can cut that free using a special glass blowing tool that we call diamond shears.
好，刚才我们看他用个很特别的零丝剪刀从四面八方剪下来，这也是特制的剪刀。
We're going to work together here to box this foot in, make what we call kind of a hockey puck shape for this.
然后他们两个合作呢，把底座的平座做出来，这样很平整，放在桌上才不会摇晃。这两个板子是不一样，另外一个是石墨板，使底座的温度降得稍微快一点。
So that's about as much work as Tom needs to get done on the blowpipe. At this point, he wants to address the lip and the shoulder of his vessel. And in order to do that, we're going to need to remove the piece from the blowpipe. So I'm starting to prepare a temporary handle that we call a punty iron that will support the piece for the duration of the process.
好，我们从荧幕上可以看得很清楚，我们的Tom做的制作过程，后面有个摄影机。现在呢，让人取出一小块热玻璃片，利用前面的钢板呢转成带尖形，而且温度不能太高，只能在1300度，这是暂时粘在我们的底座的中心点，一定要暂时粘住。
The shape I'm going for is pretty much a cotton swab or a Q-tip shape. And the most important thing about this temporary handle is the temperature. We don't want this iron to go on too hot because it'll fuse. We also don't want it to go on too cold because then it won't support the piece.
好，这是大概是最重要转换的一个过程。我们现在轻轻粘住底座中心点，只要这时候假如粘死的话，最后它就有问题取下。轻轻粘住，刚刚好在中间地方，温度不能太高，确认粘住，然后锯一锯，轻轻一敲，就离开它原来的钢管。我们希望它很成功。初学人常常这时候会掉在地上。
So a little drop of water here is going to thermal shock part of this vase, initiating a crack. And all we need is one light tap, and our piece breaks free.
我们来一点掌声鼓励一下，非常成功的转换过来，非常不容易。Tom 在这方面有很多年的经验，他们是大学毕业后再接受很多训练，是一个非常有经验的师傅。
So that's a really important part of the process. And do you want it on a 3/4? Yeah? Because if anything's going to go wrong in this process, it generally goes wrong right on that transfer point, because now the entire weight of the piece is being supported by a hot connection about the size of a 50-cent piece.
好，他特别强调这是最难一关已经过了。我们看看超地方呢，大概只有1000度，要回升到1800度呢，可能会是在这个炉子里稍微久一点。然后看到所有制作过程是因为前面有一个玻璃板挡住，可以耐4000度的高温，也是太空舱上的窗户。
So before the piece started, Tom told me that he wanted to put kind of a wrap on the outside of his bowl. He wants it to be in a really beautiful opaque white. So I'm going to start preparing that wrap for him, coloring up the glass using a little bit of titanium dioxide, also known as enamel white.
好，我们现在放了白色，白色是锡的金属氧化物，加进去好几层，我们要做它外形的装饰。
Now all of these colors move a little bit differently. White tends to reflect a lot of the heat, whereas the darker colors like black and blue tend to absorb a lot more of the heat. Same as wearing a dark t-shirt outside on a hot day. So as a result, we have softer colors and stiffer colors.
好，这时候呢，我们滚上好几层白色的，那白色的这个不同的颜色，它需要的温度也不一样，所以就跟我们穿衣服的颜色一样，吸收太阳阳光。我们看他们现在我们的玻璃前后的温度完全不一样，前面这里是1800度，温度非常高，后面一定要维持1000度以上，否则900度它就会破掉、裂掉、碎掉。
So he's moving really, really quickly right now. Tooling the glass, using those jacks as an opening wand to open the lip of the vessel. You may not notice is that he's also using centrifugal force. I'm just going to table it one time to shape the glass as well. If he spins a little bit fast, like wearing a skirt and spinning, the glass is going to spiral out a lot larger as well.
好，我们现在看他们的玻璃呢，非常重要，它温度一定要控制好，否则降得太快的话就会破掉、裂掉。我们现在用白色要加在它的外层。 同时呢，他刚才用一点离心的方法把它张开一点点。
So we attach the wrap, and we can pull back, pulling very evenly, and spiral this wrap.
热玻璃跟热玻璃很快就粘在一起了，而且呢，我们看它顺势绕这个很漂亮的螺纹出来，我们是不是也应该假如欣赏的话，就给它一点掌声？很漂亮。
Now even with just this small amount of glass on here, the glass is still hot that if my arms were long enough, I could wrap it all the way around the room. And this is actually a real similar way to a kind of glass you guys use every day and probably never even think about, which is fiber optic cable.
好，我们刚刚看Lauren给你们看，这样一拉可以拉很长，实际上那个光纤也是这样拉，可以拉得很长很长，跟我们头发一样细。
Now 1 second ago that glass was 2,000 degrees. I was able to pull it so fast and so thin that I could already touch it.
啊，因为玻璃已经马上冷却下来，表示这个冷却相当快，所以玻璃控制非常不容易，吹玻璃尤其困难。好，我们现在看汤姆要开始利用温度、离心力、地心力3种方法来操作这个玻璃，只有手工艺术玻璃才能达到这个效果。我们注意看，非常马上要发生了。
Now we get asked all the time, do you burn yourself all the time? And I can tell you it's actually pretty uncommon. It's uncommon to burn yourself on the glass, on the pipe, or even on the tools. The most common way to burn yourself is actually just by working near the glass.
好，非常精彩，我们注意看，马上要发生。
Oh my god!
So Tom was able to shape the glass just using a little bit of centrifugal force, spinning the piece out, and then by hanging it down and draping it, it's going to drape just like that beautiful handkerchief and getting that wonderful fluted edge. And just like that, the glass cools down.
好，我们知道他在用这种方法呢，是用软硬之间用地心引力取它想要的形状。 一定要很有经验师傅才能达成这样。我们现在加点水，轻轻一敲就下来。刚才我们讲粘太紧，这时候就会出现问题。我们注意看，轻轻一敲应该下来。我们看。
Couple little drops of water spoil the connection, and our piece goes ahead and breaks through.
好，加点山羊火，烧平烧花，马上放到中间降温炉，明天早上才会看到这一块玻璃。我们注意看，马上要放进去了，慢慢降温才行。
So we're going to go ahead and fire polish out that little sharp spot and load this piece into our cooling oven. We're going to cool it over the next 8 to 12 hours.
好，这个玻璃一定要放在里面，假如放在外面的话，3分钟之内就会破掉。明天早上才能看到我们这个漂亮的碗了。Excuse us, thank you.
So let's give one more round of applause for Tom Ryder and also for Sean Fun.
Thank you. 我们谢谢 Tom 和 Lauren 这两个精彩演出。现在我们要开始抽奖，我们 gonna have everybody waiting for raffle.
Everybody's waiting for the raffle, so we're going to give away a piece of glass. Tom, do you want to pick out a piece?
The show is great, but the raffle is very
The
important.
raffle's very important because we make a lot of glass. We love making glass, but we don't like to clean the glass. So we would rather send the glass home with you, so you have to clean it.
好，我们现在也很重要，就要开始抽奖，我们请 Tom 来帮我们选一个礼物。Oh, that's a nice bowl.
Very similar to what we just saw being made, actually.
It's
Very
a bubble
nice.
bowl. Okay, Tom, would you? Anna?
Okay. I'm going to read a sequence of numbers, and if you have the numbers, come on up here. You get to go home with a piece of glass. The number is 8, 8, 8, 6, 9, 9.
好，699，最后3个号码，最后3个号码699 ，last three number 699。放 your ticket, would you read the last three number？ 还有最后3个号码在你的票上面，5, 7, 8, 8, 5, 8, 5, 7, 8 last three number 5, 7, 8 last three number。哇，keep on lucky there，